are your hosts, Bob Lux and Mary Simcoe.
Good day and welcome from downtown South Bend, the site of the 7th Annual Ethnic Festival Parade. I'm Mary Simcoe.
And I'm Bob Lux. And boy, what a beautiful day we have. This is an Ethnic Festival Parade. Usted es muy bonita, señora.
Gracias.
Oh, boy. Ethnic Festival. This is our culture. We have people, of course, represented from around the world. Here I am, German with a little French and maybe Indian, wearing a French outfit. You are in a beautiful Spanish outfit, just like the gals where I used to live in Spain. You look so pretty, Mary.
Well, thank you very much. And we certainly are looking forward to today. A number of award-winning high school bands from throughout the area, floats, queens, you name it. It'll all be here at the Ethnic Festival Parade.
We have bands from the local area and also throughout the state. And we also have award-winning bands. We have the floats, we have the queens, we have the clowns, and boy, we have a terrific program scheduled for you today from South Bend, Indiana. Are you about ready?
I certainly am.
All right, let's take a short intermission, and then we'll begin our live TV 22 coverage from South Bend, Indiana, the 1989 Ethnic Festival Parade.
This summer, Indiana, whatever you do and wherever you go, Coca-Cola Classic will be there. It's the one soft drink enjoyed across the nation 5 million more times every day than any other. 5 million more times. Coca-Cola Classic, America's favorite under the sun.
Hi, hon. You beat me home again. I can't wait to tell him I called TCU Auto Access for the new car lease payments.
Oh, John brought me home. My car died again. We need a new car, but can we afford it?
You know, we should think about buying a new car.
I know, but I'm not sure we can afford it.
Yes, we can.
You can have a new car through TCU Auto Access, only from Teachers Credit Union.
It's where you belong.
It's time, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, live from South Bend, Indiana. This is the big holiday weekend, the Ethnic Festival, and wave that flag, and we wave that flag proudly, don't we, Mary?
We certainly do, and it's really great to be here on such a beautiful day in downtown South Bend.
Let's get to the lead units right now. This is the Marion County Motorcycle Drill Team, and boy, oh boy, these folks are really going to highlight the parade. Now, this is different from other units that we've seen. The Blossom Time has the Indianapolis Police Department drill team. These folks, there are 18 of them, and the motorcycle officer is wearing the traditional colors worn by all the Indiana sheriffs. This is the Marion County Precision Motorcycle Drill Team from the Indianapolis area. 18 motorcycles from Marion County, Mary, and they've been around. They've even performed for the presidential inaugural.
That's right. The most recent inaugural, we might add, the inaugural of President Bush in Washington, D.C. Riding with this particular unit is Marion County Sheriff Joe McAtee. He's riding with the 16 traffic officers who are assigned to this sheriff's traffic section.
They're going to line up in just a moment what they call split the rail. And you'll see Lieutenant Fred Schultz come by standing on his motorcycle. Now, they're setting up for this, and as they go by, and he will go right down the middle of the street after they regroup here, and they will have the safety cycles riding along the crowd just in case somebody steps out. Now, they, of course, caution the crowds not to do that. Notice how they move, and there's a lot of practice that goes into this. These are the actual motorcycles that they use on patrol in the Indianapolis area. These are Harley-Davidson 1300 models. Going through the maneuvers. They practice these maneuvers quite regularly, 2-3 times a week in a parking lot down at Indianapolis. Good crowd on hand here in South Bend. We're just east of the downtown South Bend area.
We are set up on Jefferson Boulevard near the Teachers Credit Union building and near the Teachers Credit Union building at St. Louis Street.
Watch when Fred comes by standing up. They may look like, here he comes. Look at that. Now, when you're driving around Indianapolis and a police motorcycle's behind you and you look in the mirror and you see something like that in the highway, no, they don't do that. Now, please, if you're a motorcyclist, don't ride like that. They're not really going that fast, although sometimes it appears they are. They're only going about 20, 25 miles an hour max. There comes Fred. He was practicing that last night. I was with him personally in the parking lot over at the South Bend Ramada Inn, Mary. And boy, oh boy, he got some looks over there.
I guess you'd need a very large parking lot to practice that type of thing, huh?
The Indianapolis motorcycle drill team performed in the Indianapolis 500-mile race parade, where this drill team that we see here, making their first appearance in South Bend, actually performed on the track before the actual race. So the Indianapolis team that we saw during Blossom Time, as I say, was in the parade, and these fellows, with their expertise, were actually prior to the race around the Indianapolis racetrack. Motorcycle officers wearing the traditional colors worn by all Indiana sheriffs. Interesting to note, kind of hard to tell, of course, on television, but their uniform buttons are gold-plated, not brass. Maybe we can see them glitter a little bit as we watch. We're located on East Jefferson in South Bend, just a little bit east of the downtown South Bend area. And we have floats and bands and queens and clowns and award-winning bands as well. Antique cars. This parade's going to go at least 2 hours, Mary.
And we can't forget that the fun really is just starting, and it's going to continue after the parade with the ethnic festival itself and all the food downtown.
Lieutenant Fred Schultz. Now, by the way, Fred was a former member of the Indianapolis Police Department drill team, Mary, as Sheriff Joe McAtee, who, of course, heads this unit. He is the former chief of police for Indianapolis. So they got a little training there and then moved to the Marion County Sheriff's Department. South Bend police units, as we see there, leading off the Ethnic Festival Parade.
We have a very large and enthusiastic crowd down here along Jefferson Boulevard.
These three-wheel motorcycles we see a lot, of course, around the area. Good crowd on hand, huh? Boy, a lot of people. We're talking about perhaps in the vicinity of 4,000 people participating in the parade, let alone the thousands that have turned out with their lawn chairs and their blankets all the way along the route.
It's a perfect day.
Want to publicly thank Captain Ed Friend of the South Bend Police Department and Lieutenant Larry Bloom for their help in putting on this year's parade. They spent a lot of time. They even gave the South Bend Police Department gave the drill team a reception, a private escort right through town yesterday afternoon, through downtown South Bend. Picked them up at 31 South and Kern Road and went right through town with the police siren, not exceeding the speed limit, of course, and observing all the safety precautions necessary. But they escorted them right straight through town, all the way up north of town to the Ramada Inn. And well-deserved. Those motorcycles that we saw, Mary, I mentioned the Harley-Davidson 1300 cc's. They actually, most of them were brought up in a big moving van. They have a great big monster moving van that on the side is painted the pictures of the motorcycles themselves. Now, I think 3 or 4 of the officers actually rode up. The ones that don't ride the cycles all the time, but the guys who are on the bikes all day long, they thought they'd rather ride up in the van or the bus. And so they actually drove them up in the great big van, if you will. I'm Bob Lux with Mary Simcoe, and you won't miss a thing as we continue our live coverage from South Bend of the 1989 Ethnic Festival Parade. We'll be right back.
Check it out. You guys do something?
You guys are so immature.
Was that your sister?
I'm not sure.
Man, am I tired. This rat race is really getting to me.
What I'd give for a vacation.
You know, you really have been working too hard.
Maybe now's the time to bring up that cruise we've talked about. We do have our V card from TCU.
Maybe we should start planning that cruise we talked about.
But can we afford it?
Yes, we can.
V-Card, Teachers Home Equity Visa Card from Teachers Credit Union.
It's where you belong.
All right, as the police cars continue to go by, we want to show you something that actually happened at 9:30 this morning here.
That's right, Bob. The pre-parade ceremonies began, and we have some videotape to show you. Enthusiastic crowd.
All right, we're going to get to that in just a moment. I think somebody grabbed the wrong tape. But what happened this morning at 9:30, we had the official ribbon-cutting ceremony. The mayor was here, too, as a matter of fact. Joe Kernan, Congressman John Hyler was here. We had the prayer to the nation, and folks began arriving early this morning. The skies are absolutely beautiful. Blue.
They certainly are.
Temperature right now probably in the mid-70s. It's going to be in the 80s before the day is out.
Direct contact with our staff meteorologist, Earl Finkel, to make for this great day in South Bend. So let's get the event underway. First of all, we invite you to...
See by the dawn's early light, what so proudly wheels, and the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight are the ramparts re-watched, with the gallantly streaming, and the rockets rippling, the bombs bursting in air, gave a brave.
Now that, of course, is what happened at 9:30 this morning, and now we see the ribbon-cutting ceremonies, and that has already happened, of course, and we're now into the actual parade. Just a brief delay as we're lining things up here, and there's a lot to come. Boy, I'm looking forward to the bands, and some of these floats, Mary, are 50, 60, and even 70 feet long.
Should be quite a spectacle.
Just a terrific time. This is the official sponsor of the parade, one of the fine radio stations in the Michiana area, WYEZ, one of the sponsors. And by the way, let's say this, Mary, the theme of this year's Ethnic Festival Parade is the world according to kids. The world according to kids. And we have things in this parade the next couple of hours that will be certainly geared to the youngsters, and by all means, keep in mind, everybody's a youngster at this time around. Now, the Penny Saver is involved in this as well.
Yes, of course, the Penny Saver float's theme is the world according to kids, in keeping with the theme of the overall ethnic festival. The float, as we'll see as it approaches, is built in Victorian style, and youngsters wearing ethnic costumes are riding.
Polynesian. You look closely, you'll see Mexican, German, Spanish, Polish. Mary's wearing her Spanish dress. The dress you're wearing here, Mary, reminds me, as I mentioned on the open, literally of the fiesta season. They call it the feria season, La Feria in Spain. And every year the girls get all dressed up looking just like that and do flamenco dances. I'm going to try and talk you into doing a flamenco dance, clicking the castanets at the conclusion of our telecast if we have time.
No, we won't have time.
Only problem, we forgot the castanets.
That's right. Well, I'd like to thank Stoner's Fun Store in downtown South Bend for so graciously lending me this particular dress today. Much appreciate. Thanks a lot to Stoner's in South Bend and in Fort Wayne.
I don't know if you'll, some of these people behind the floats are handing out official programs. The parade committee thanks the Penny Saver for providing the parade program, handing them out. Then the folks along the parade route can see exactly what unit to look for. And the Michiana Scottish Society Parade of Titans here. This unit is of the Michiana Scottish Society Parade of Titans and Pickup Band.
And Bob, members of this group are wearing outfits representing their families, particular clans or geographic districts in Scotland.
Let's enjoy this music. Model A Ford here. I love these old cars. A couple of folks from the parade sponsor. The bagpipes that you hear, made up of volunteers from around the area. Some of the members are independents. Others come from two bagpipe bands in Michiana, the Thistle and Heather Bagpipe Band of South Bend and the Caledonia Kilty Band of Mishawaka. Find an old car meet, and that's where you'll find me. I enjoy that very much. This is the 50 flags. Colin Associates bring color to the parade again this year, entering the flags of the 50 states. Boy, at 4th of July weekend, that's when we are extra proud to fly that American flag. Look at all these flags. And each state has a flag, of course. And of course, being the heterogeneous society that we are, a mixture of all nationalities from around the world. That's what makes America so great. This is actually the beginning of a big weekend here in South Bend, Mary.
That is so true. We mentioned earlier this is the 7th annual Ethnic Festival Parade. The Ethnic Festival itself, with the food booths in the downtown area, goes back about 14 years. And I believe it was begun to promote South Bend's uniqueness as a very individual, culturally diversified community, and ethnically diversified as well.
Now, this is the winner of the President's Award here today. From Sodus, Michigan, comes Sesame Street on Parade. This float was the Queen's Award winner in this year's Blossom Time Parade that we had the pleasure of carrying on WSBT television. Here's the Queen.
That's Miss Sodus, Tanya Stapolionis. This float, of course, has many of the Sesame Street characters on it, Big Bird and Cookie Monster and whatnot. And we might add that this particular float was built by people in Sodus, and they were all volunteers. A lot of hard-working people.
Look, notice Oscar on the top there coming up in and out of his garbage can.
Oh, yes.
The Count moving back and forth. Bert and Ernie are on this float. Grover is waving and kicking his feet, if you can see that, if you look closely.
It's easy to understand why this float was a winner not only in the Blossom Parade, but also our ethnic parade today. The President's Award winner, as Bob said.
Last time we saw this float, Mary Simcoe and I were sitting up in St. Joe Benton Harbor, Michigan for the Blossom Time Parade that we love to do. It was the first Saturday in May, and the temperature was 39, 40 degrees, and it started to snow before the telecast, and we were right outside. And that parade went by so fast because it was cold. Boy, they do such a nice job up there. We hope you folks are tuned in up there, are enjoying our Ethnic Festival Parade. And this is just our 7th annual Ethnic Festival Parade.
Here we have the Wawasee High School Band. They are the defending band champion, as you saw, and I think we're going to find out that it's easy to see why. This band comes to us from Syracuse, Indiana, in Kosciuszko County.
The lead band in each year's parade is given to the band judged the most outstanding from the previous year's parade, and as you point out, so this being the lead band, this is the first of many bands. And I'd like to say that all of the high school bands in the TV 22 viewing area were invited to participate in the parade. So if your favorite high school is not represented here today, either one of two things, and they either did have closed up the band program for the summer, of course school is on break, and they just are not functioning. Some of the bands, I understand, actually got together, the high schools, just for this parade, Mary. And other than that, everybody was invited, and we have a lot of bands to go through today.
This band has not only won, Bob, at the Ethnic Festival, but also first place honors at the Peach Bowl Parade in Atlanta and the Mermaid Festival in North Webster.
David Blackwell is the band director. Marching Warrior Pride making their 5th Ethnic Festival Parade appearance. They're right in front of the reviewing stand now, which is about a half a block east of our location. And of course, the bands are judged. Each of the out-of-town high school bands are being judged in today's parade, judged in 2 classes depending on their size. The multi-award-winning Wawasee Marching Warrior Pride Band. They have different honors: Best Marching Unit, Color Guard Auxiliary Corps, Marching Unit, Drum Major. Mayor should be in this one. Nikki's on the truck, way in the back. See Mayor Kernan waving?
Oh, yes.
This is the mayor will be back in the alumni section of the parade. St. Joe High School, of course, is the featured alumni high school or school. I think we've said this before. Have you ever seen a dirty fire truck?
Never.
Well represented. The police, the fire department. Don't forget the Ethnic Festival will be opening a little after 11 o'clock this morning in downtown South Bend. It'll run today and tomorrow. They have 116 different booths, I think 52 food booths, which we can talk more about later if time permits at the conclusion of our telecast.
As we saw, Bob, members of the South Bend City Council are riding some of these fire trucks. Hopefully at the end of our broadcast, we'll show you some of the preparations that took place for the assembling of the food booths. Much of the preparations took place Friday afternoon.
So much work goes into that. The director of the Community Relations, Community Affairs, Mickey Dobsky, kind of oversees everything. Gwen Stiver is the chairman again of the Ethnic Festival. Things started, this is the 16th annual Ethnic Festival. This is the 7th parade, but the 14th, the first one was back in the 16th, I should say. The first one occurred back in 1974 when Audrey Conley, the past great president of the Visitors and Convention Bureau, decided, wow, this is, let's do something to promote South Bend. And from that point on, the rest is history. As we see the Hensel Center.
The Hensel Center, Bob, is the neighborhood service organization on the west side of South Bend. The youngsters in this particular unit are wearing ceremonial dress of various African countries, in keeping with the ethnic theme of our festival today. The walking unit with this particular Hensel Center display is made up of youngsters enrolled in the Hensel Center and the Martin Daycare Center school-age program. Hensel Center operates 3 daycare facilities: the Learning Twig, the Martin Daycare, and the Hensel Center Daycare.
Well, we see babies in arms, and we see everybody in between, senior citizens getting some good location. A lot of things happening in addition to the activity down throughout the downtown South Bend area. Auction 89 at the Christian Center this afternoon from 1:30 until 5:30. Over 250 merchants have donated items. It'll be auctioned off. Feed the Hungry. All proceeds will go to the local Feed the Hungry and Youth on a Million outreach program. And I've been invited to MC that at 1:30 this afternoon. That's on Ireland Road, just a couple of blocks west of the Scottsdale Mall. So try and get out there if you can. Look at the flags.
We just saw the unit, and we are still seeing it from the Green Township Lions Club. And they are cooperating with the Hansel Neighborhood Service Center.
There's the mayor. He's a neat guy. I like Joe Kernan. He has such a likable personality that sometimes people attribute only to politicians, but I think even if he wasn't running for office, that's the kind of guy he is. He's out there helping and smiling and patting you on the back. The parade actually formed over at School Field in South Bend. This is what we're looking at right now, is the Boys Club of South Bend, consisting of a clubhouse built by the Boys and Girls Club. The float was made by the youth in the club. Shirley Fulton, the youth development supervisor, started to say, Mary, the parade was formed and they got together, and a lot of coordination goes into, as we see the Daphne Dolls baton twirlers here, all girls between 3 and 11 years old, and they actually coordinate the beginning inside School Field, which is a football stadium here in the South Bend area and around there, and then of course it, which is about a mile east of the immediate downtown South Bend area for our viewers who are not familiar with South Bend. Then we went north on Eddy Street about 2 or 3 blocks, turned west on this Jefferson Street, and right now our cameras are looking to the east and the marchers are marching west. The parade goes, what did they tell us, Rick Kring, the chairman, about a mile, I believe, Mary.
Right.
A little over, perhaps. They're trying to make it longer every year.
Daphne's Dolls, the baton twirlers, are from Plymouth, Indiana.
AAA Modeling Agency. This unit is being presented by the AAA Modeling Talent Agency. They've served Michiana area for about 16 years. They're noted for their children models.
In keeping with the parade theme, Bob, the world according to kids, many youngsters are riding in some very nice horse-drawn carriages.
Notice the flowers in the horses' manes and tails, as well as on the carriage, as well as the leis on the model. Boy, what a colorful parade.
Indeed.
Let's take a look at the Mayflower Baptist Church unit. This float is the entry from the Mayflower Baptist Church, which is on the far west side of South Bend. Served the community for over 36 years.
And Bob, this was one of the parade award winners, the Mayflower Baptist Church unit winning the theme trophy for best overall theme.
Their float is a puppet stage and mural with a large water fountain. Mayflower Baptist Church invites everybody to go and drink from the fountain of the living water.
The Mayflower Baptist Church, by the way, will also have a booth in the Ethnic Festival later downtown.
Let's go to Ronald McDonald. We see this fellow in, I think, every parade we've done over the years, Mary.
That's right. He's a favorite every year.
All right, you won't miss a thing. I'm Bob Lux with Mary Simcoe, and we are live at the South Bend Ethnic Festival Parade. Shall we pause for just a moment?
Certainly. We'll be back after this.
This summer, Indiana, whatever you do and wherever you go, Coca-Cola Classic will be there. It's the one soft drink enjoyed across the nation 5 million more times every day than any other. 5 million more times. Coca-Cola Classic, America's favorite under the sun.
Why would anyone want a credit card from some bank in California, especially when they charge? Let's see, this one says 21% annual interest. No thanks. I'll stick with my Teachers Credit Union Visa card. There's no annual fee to pay, and the interest rate is a whole lot less than that one. And TCU is right here at home.
Teachers Credit Union, it's where you belong.
Back with you at Ethnic Parade 1989, the Westview Warriors from Topeka and Chipshawana in LaGrange County, Indiana.
76 members. Band director is Mike Miller. The band was the 1987 Ethnic Festival Band Champion. They also were the first place band in Class B in 87 and 88. And they've won a lot of other awards, too. Truly outstanding band from eastern Elkhart County who have been participants in past Ethnic Festival parades, as I say, and we welcome them back to the 1989 Ethnic Festival Parade in bright red and white.
The Westview High School Marching Band.
Here's Miss South Bend, Susan Zielinski.
She's been a busy girl lately, Bob. Just last weekend, she represented South Bend to the Miss Indiana Scholarship Pageant in Michigan City. I believe she placed first in the swimsuit competition.
This is a good day to wear a swimsuit today.
That's right.
Miss South Bend. Just one of many, many beauty queens we're going to see. We have more queens coming up from the Blossom Time Festival, of course.
Zielinski is her last name. That's a good Polish name. Very appropriate for an ethnic festival parade.
You bet. Is she pretty? Nice close shot. They're gearing up, if you've joined us late, for the Ethnic Festival in downtown South Bend, of course. Let's take a look at the fire department now. This unit comes to us from the South Bend Fire Department, of course, and the chief is Luther Taylor.
In this unit today, Bob, is the MIDI 1 fire truck, a Quint fire unit, and the hazmat unit. Usually when they're out on the streets, Bob, they're not driving nearly this slow.
I've never seen the safety pup here on the truck when they're answering a fire, though.
No.
Let's hope not. Now, that's the big snorkel that he's in for, of course, when they have to go up high. Now that the little youngsters are waving as the units go by. This is the trolley. Transpo trolley. I believe this is the unit that shuttles people back and forth sometimes to the Kovaleski Baseball Stadium in South Bend. That was the plan originally. All the Transpo folks in that.
Bringing up the rear, we find the Purdue Boilermaker Special. Boilermaker Special is a traveling mascot for Purdue University in West Lafayette. This unit has appeared in many parades throughout Indiana. And we might be able to hear this, hopefully. Hail Purdue, the Purdue fight song being played over the sound system. So let's hope we can get a glimpse, we can hear some of that. There's a happy young fellow.
This is the parade season. A lot of fireworks around the area. Of course, as we get closer to the 4th of July, which is Tuesday. Don't forget the ball game over at Kovaleski Ballpark today. Of course, they're played last night, play today, they'll play tomorrow, play Monday. And if you want fireworks after the ball game on Monday night, there will be fireworks here in South Bend. A lot of the other communities, of course, Mishawaka and all the surrounding areas have fireworks.
Anybody thinking of going to the ethnic festival needn't worry about not having enough types of food because there are many different types of varieties. Anyone that attends was sure to find something they like.
Let's go back to 1930 right here, friends. If you're scratching your head, what year is that? This is Jack Reed's car. He's one of Mayor Kernan's administrative assistants. It's a 1930 Model A. Notice the flags. A lot of folks here with flags along the way. I'm very encouraged. Later on, we'll see a group of antique cars with a car club. They'll be coming through. Mike Warren is in town, who played Bobby on Hill Street Blues. He is going to be riding with the Central group as they're having their reunion this weekend. I think they met last night.
He's from South Bend Central High School, I believe, a graduate of the class of '64.
Yeah, Mike Warren, great basketball star and great actor now, spent a good hour and a half with us on WSBT Radio yesterday afternoon. By the way, I hope you'll join Mary Simcoe and me every afternoon from 2 to 6 on WSBT Radio. That's 960 on your AM stereo dial. You know any twins, Mary?
I have twin brothers.
Well, this is the Twins Club, Michiana's Mother of Twins Club. Walking, pushing their strollers, pulling wagons, riding bikes. You have a twin sister, identical twin?
No, twin brothers.
Oh, you do?
Twin brothers.
Are they identical?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
This unit represents families of twins, the twins themselves and their siblings, multiples other than twins also included. This is really a family unit here in South Bend. You ever get your brothers mixed up?
No, I've always been able to tell them apart. But they were born about a year after I was, and my mother had 3 babies, and boy, did she have her hands full.
Any of your other relatives have trouble telling them apart, who don't
Yes.
see them on a regular
Yes,
basis?
Very much so. They look very much alike.
This is the St. Joe County Extension Chorus.
This is a group of women associated with the Purdue Music Organization through the statewide Homemakers Extension Service Program. And Bob, each spring at Purdue, all these different types of groups throughout the state and other counties besides St. Joseph County gather at Purdue, and they put on a major song fest, you might say.
Tri-Harmony stands for three-part harmony, but also T-R-Y, as in come try us. Maybe that would be of interest to you. Oh, yeah. We are familiar with this, Mary.
That's right. Miss Blossom Time float with Julie Starbuck, Miss Blossom Time of 1989. She reigned over the Blossom Time Festival, which we were delighted to appear at a couple of months ago.
Julie is, Miss Blossom Time is from Baroda, Michigan.
Included on the float is her court, first runner-up to Miss Blossom Time, Colleen Coffey, Miss New Buffalo, and the second runner-up, Amy Scott, Miss Buchanan.
Parade Committee would like to thank Carol Weller, Executive Director of Blossom Time, for all of her help and assistance throughout the year. She's helped us an awful lot. Thanks, Carol. Hope you're watching today.
We also can't forget Ingrid Lacey, Miss Pawpaw, who is Miss Congeniality this year.
Ethnic Festival Parade Committee, I'm told, hopes to have a float in next year's Blossom Time Parade. Isn't this nice? One parade uses the and helps the other as far as promotion goes and units. That's a great shot with the flags. Really neat.
I think it's a great idea for the two parades to work together, the two parade organizations.
If you like parades, folks, the big river, I'm not sure what they call it, the River Run Parade or whatever it is, it's in Fort Wayne next week. And the Marion County drill team that led off our parade this morning here in South Bend, Indiana, will be participating down in Fort Wayne next Saturday. All right, the Central Alumni Band. Here we go. Central Alumni Band formed for the very first Ethnic Festival Parade. That was, of course, 7 years ago, still going strong. Has marched in every parade. Well, there's enthusiasm. Remember last year, the first year, 7 years ago, when we did the television show and the Central Alumni Band was featured, Mary, and they had that fellow came in, he was in his 80s, all the way from the West Coast.
That's right. Although Central High School is no longer in existence, the school spirit that remains is very intense. Now on this unit, I believe, is Mike Warren of Hill Street Blues. Perhaps we'll get a good shot of him.
No, Mike wanted to be in with his friends. Mike's in the front there. wearing that baseball cap right there with the, I think it has New York Yankee cap on. That's what he wore down to the radio studio yesterday because his dad, Mary, is a New York Yankee fan. Mike was a Chicago White Sox fan, he told me on the radio yesterday, when he lived in the South Bend area, but his dad loved the Yankees, so he's wearing a Yankee cap when he comes through town. They had a big get-together last night. Let's take a look at the Royal Majestic Parade Corps this time. First unit in the Royal Blue and Silver won the 1989 State and Regional Parade Corps Championship. About 30 girls in this group.
We were talking about Central High School. Central, of course, won a couple of state high school basketball championships in the 50s, and just a great deal of school spirit still remains.
They finished runner-up in the state in 1963, I know, when Mike Warren played for them. Then Mike went on to play, of course, for UCLA, and Johnny Wooden winning those championships, those national championships, as any basketball fan can tell us. And by the way, the Central Alumni Band is going to be the featured school again next year. To lead it off again. They've been going around the different schools in the area. This year, of course, it's South Bend St. Joe, and there's a lot of South Bend St. Joe High School representation coming up towards the end of the parade. The second group in the Royal Blue is the beginner group here. We're seeing both groups, the older group in the front, and then, of course, in the back, as you saw behind there, is the younger group. Royal Majestic Parade Corps. Lorraine Gill is the Corps Director. March of Dimes float right here.
This float, Bob, was promoting the second annual Rubber Duck Regatta, which is going to take place on the East Race in South Bend, July the 4th in the evening. It's quite a fun event.
Have you heard about that Rubber Ducky Regatta?
A little bit.
The second annual Rubber Duck Regatta float is to bring attention to the public about the Rubber Duck Regatta that will take place on July 4th, as you say. It'll be at 6 o'clock. That's next Tuesday in the East Race of South Bend. What happens, they release about 5,000 little duckies, little rubber duckies, and they race down the river, and I think inside the ducks they put a number or something to see who actually is the winner. So that's next Tuesday.
The March of Dimes' goal, of course, is to make sure that youngsters are born happy and healthy. The LaSalle High School Marching Lions, known as the Unlimited Sounds of Power. Let's listen.
Band recently had the pleasure of marching at the Six Flags over Mid-America in St. Louis. Willie Keys is the director. Again, a lot of these bands are not even organized during the summer months. They got together especially to rehearse and practice for the Ethnic Festival Parade. And some of these bands, I'm told, in different neighborhoods were practicing up and down the residential streets of the neighborhood.
Here we have Karen McKibben, the LaSalle High School Teacher of the Year. Let's correct that. She was Indiana State Teacher of the Year. She happens to be from LaSalle High School, and she has been at LaSalle for a number of years now, teaching 17 years altogether. She also received an honorary degree at the Notre Dame graduation last spring.
Karen's a special person in the community. We can all take pride in her work with the youth in our schools. Oh, that's the kind of picture I love. He's waiting for Big Bird to come back, I think, huh?
I think so.
Lots of clowns that we're seeing here today. As you picked them up from time to time, the clowns sort of go up and down and the back and forth on the parade route. A lot of great clowns. Whitey the Clown, Peter, Beans, Rosie, Pinky. Clowns have appeared in many area parades. We certainly appreciate them. What would a parade be without the clowns? Again, this is Karen McKibben, the Indiana Teacher of the Year.
Karen is a science teacher at LaSalle High School, and it's very obvious she loves her work, and it's quite an honor to be chosen as Teacher of the Year for the entire state.
Well, how'd you like to be in school and have a teacher like her? I'm speaking on behalf of the guys here. Very nice. A lot of little wagons. This is kind of a unique competition, these wagons, Mary.
They were judged earlier today in the school field area. These youngsters have made many floats out of their little red wagons. The winner of this competition receives 3 savings bonds.
These youngsters are between 6 and 12 years of age. This gives the boys and girls of the area an opportunity to experience firsthand the task of building their own float. You start with a little wagon, you work your way up to the floats like we see.
Some creative ideas, as we can see in this unit.
Let's hope the parade committee that this will grow each year so that the future may bring the wagons all grouped together by age and have separate judging for each age category. These are things you don't forget. I remember things I used to do on stage back when I was in the 2nd and 3rd grade, and I'm sure this is the type of thing that you never forget the rest of your life. Look at that. Uncle Sam, here on the Independence Day weekend. There's Congressman John Hyler, 3rd District Representative.
Meeting the crowd.
Likable fellow. He appears with us on my WSBT radio broadcast frequently. He's taking listeners' calls. If you have any problems or any questions, he is. We've never screened a call. He's always there to answer those questions when he is in town. So, by the way, WSBT radio is the information station, 960 AM stereo. We play music and trivia, lots of news and sports and special events. I hope you'll tune in with Mary Simcoe and me every afternoon.
Here we have from Washington High School on the west side of South Bend, the Pantherettes Pom-Pom Squad. This particular group was the first high school in South Bend to have its own pom-pom squad. 32 girls are divided into a varsity and a junior varsity squad.
Bonnie Tefelsky, the sponsor of the Washington High School Pantherettes squad. All part of a sporting event when you see groups like this, whether it be football or basketball or whatever it is. It all goes in. It's like icing on the cake as I look at it. Colorful, exciting. We hope you'll plan to come downtown in South Bend this weekend. There'll be 3 stages providing entertainment, such as country music, big band music, rock and roll music, any type of entertainment you want. It'll be on stage all weekend long. 116 different booths, 52 food booths representing foods from all over the world. Asia, Europe, of course, our great country, the United States, Canada, Mexico, I'm sure. There's the Four Flags Apple Festival float from our neighbors from the north, Niles, Michigan. Won the Mayor Award, I see on there.
That's right, and Erica Weber was Four Flags Apple Festival Queen.
Our generations of little children have loved the little train that could, and we saw this in the Blossom Time Parade. Remember the story, the Chirpa Little Engine who dared to try going up over the hill when the other bigger and stronger engines refused, enduring hero of our childhood. Well, that's what this is all about. The Four Flags Apple Festival salutes that little engine and its indomitable spirit with this year's float, named appropriately, I Think I Can, I Think I Can, I Think I Can. I remember reading that so many times, Mary. Four Flags Apple Festival float. And again, this is the Ethnic Festival Parade in South Bend, Indiana. I'm Bob Lux with Mary Simcoe, and the theme is The World According to Kids.
I neglected to mention, Bob, this year's Four Flags Area Apple Festival queen, Erica Weber, is from Niles. She's on the float with her court.
Great community involvement. This is the American Legion Post 50 of South Bend, comprised of military veterans who served all over the world to protect our liberty and freedom. Post 50 supports kids and sponsors them in various endeavors, including scouting, Little League, recreation, academic efforts, just plain fun. The Post baseball team was the 1977 National American Legion champions, and their sponsored Little League team were the league champions this past year.
From New Carlisle and Rolling Prairie is the New Prairie High School marching.
Now there's the News Hound, Sonny the News Hound. We see him around a lot of the parades. Ambassador of Goodwill from the South Bend Tribune newspaper.
75 members of the band in today's parade. They made their very first.
Sonny the News Hound appears in, he's been to the Ice Capades, 4-H fair. He's riding in a Studebaker convertible, by the way.
How appropriate.
They appeared in various other parades around the area, too. Let's hear it for New Prairie High School.
All right, let's take a look at the New Prairie High School Marching Cougars, and in a matter of seconds, we will get into camera range a little closer, and we'll enjoy the music of about 75 members.
They're from Rolling Prairie in western St. Joseph County, Bob.
Making their first South Bend Ethnic Festival Parade appearance just last year, so this is their second appearance. First was last year. Mark Belsas, the band director. They're participating in a lot of parades this year. Memorial Day Parade, New Carlisle, Rolling Prairie, LaPorte's 4th of July Parade, New Carlisle Historical Days, Freeman Fireman's Festival. Want to stand and salute. Boy, this is an interesting one. And take a look at Alex Redding Family Reunion USA. An interesting story here, Mary.
That's right. This unit is comprised of 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th generation residents of Alex Redding. He is from Monroe County, Georgia, but the family moved to Indiana in the early 1900s.
Family Reunion began as a backyard picnic July 4th, 1929. And 1989 marked 60 years of organized Redding family reunions. We are proud of heritage. Kind of an interesting addition to our live coverage of the 1989 South Bend Ethnic Festival Parade. I'm Bob Lux with Mary Simcoe. Let's take a short break. We'll come back with more parade.
You're my favorite under the sun. You're the real thing. You're the one. Can't top it. Can't stop it. The feeling you get from a Coca-Cola classic. Can't beat it. Can't beat the real thing. No. Can't beat the feeling.
Well, thanks again, Mr. Rush. I can't believe how easy that was.
Who was that? Oh, say it was TCU with our loan approval for the boat.
Well, let me put it this way. Want to go pick up the boat? loan approval in less than 4 hours, and they guaranteed it.
Really? We can go pick up the boat?
Yes, we can.
Thank you, TCU.
Yes, you can get fast loan approval as a Teachers Credit Union member. Call 289-EASY.
Where you belong.
Yes.
Here we have the 1989 Junior America Petite Indiana State winner. Her name is Takesha Williams, and she is 8 years old. She'll compete in the national pageant in Miami Beach in late September.
She's won quite a few other pageants. To win the state title, she competed against over 60 other little girls. Whoops.
Here we have the Penn High School Marching Band approaching, Bob, from eastern St. Joseph County. More than 100 members in this band.
This is an absolute huge marching band. Have you been out
The Lafayette School PTA is exploding for kids. So with this entry in the parade and the first annual PTA float competition. The float depicts the work that the PTA does for kids and the school. The children riding on this float all attend Lafayette School.
And Bob, this unit won the PTA trophy in this parade. So an award-winning unit here from Lafayette School in South Bend.
Now back to the Penn Marching Band. From Mishawaka, Greater Osceola, Penn, Harris, Madison area townships is the Penn High School Marching Band. Keith Rudolph, the band director.
Nobody knows.
Over 100 members marching today, I'm told.
Let's hear it from Penn High School. Tammy, yes, Tammy Joseph.
Marching Band, that's an award-winning band. They've won a lot of first-place awards at various locations. This is Granny Rabbit and Company. Trophy-winning Granny Rabbit and Company presents Peace to Granny Rabbit, meaning respect for life in all forms. The group has participated in many parades in the Michiana area for 3 years, is the recipient of various awards for the efforts to promote awareness that peace among people of all walks of life. This is achieved by respecting life around us in all forms, which is their theme. That's sort of their slogan. Like the horses, Mary?
Indeed, and this is the St. Joseph County Sheriff's Posse. The Posse, a feature at the 4-H fair and parades such as this. This is a completely volunteer organization. Each member has his own horse and his own transportation and uniform.
To belong, each member is qualified on the pistol range and worked 200 hours of police training, I'm told. These members have been sworn in as reserve county police officers. They're on 24-hour call by the sheriff. We see them at the 4-H fair a lot and other places. A lot of animals at the fair. I even noticed a raccoon that's not in the parade, Mary. A lady had a raccoon on a leash, a little baby raccoon, probably a month old, the cutest little thing. She could pick it up and hold it like a little kitty cat. You like baseball? Let's talk about the South Bend White Sox for just a second now. Right
They're
here.
coming up. They're having a very successful year this year, Bob.
Members of the South Bend White Sox are appearing in the parade today right here. Now, these are just a few of the young men who are members of this year's team. The Sox won the first half title of the Northern Division, the Midwest League, and also joining the team members are the Diamond Girls for the South Bend White Sox. And by the way, the Sox invite you to spend the day at the Ethnic Festival and then go down to Coveleski Stadium tonight for the ball game at 7 o'clock. The Sox will be at home tonight, tomorrow, and also on Monday with a big fireworks show planned for Monday night after the baseball game at Coveleski Ballpark. Some of you folks from the outlying areas, if you haven't been down to our beautiful baseball stadium, downtown South Bend, you're in for a real treat if you're a baseball fan. Beautiful stadium. Especially when we win, like we've been doing.
Yes, they have been doing a lot of that lately. We're glad to report.
They had the Chicken there a couple of weeks ago or so. The San Diego Chicken, a capacity crowd, put on quite a show. But if you like baseball, really try and get out, especially when the weather's nice. It's just absolutely delightful at a nice time.
And it's appropriate that following the Sox, the voice of the Sox, 103.1 FM, WHME. They broadcast every game.
You like polka bands. Let's get to some music right here. Scotty's Polka Band, made up of grandfather and grandson. Scotty is a native of Osceola. Now, Scotty is 7 years old. He attends St. Joseph School in Mishawaka. He's been playing the drums, I'm told, since he was 2 years old. I hope you have a chance to do things with your grandkids. That is just great. Teachers Credit Union, one of our sponsors, by the way. And if you're enjoying our parade coverage, please let the folks at Teachers Credit Union know. Teachers Credit Union, it's where you belong. This is their float entry, and it's the Johnny Appleseed float. Johnny sits in the front making friends with the deer and the bear. There's a big 7-foot red metallic apple that's a spiral staircase and butterflies on the inside. Baskets of apples decorating the float. I had the privilege of having lunch yesterday with the president and chief executive officer of Teachers Credit Union, a longtime personal friend, Mr. Rick Rice, over at the special luncheon that Mayor Joe Kernan threw. Let's take a look at the Domino's pizza representation now.
Annoyed from the TV commercials.
How about more music from the bands here? John Adams High School Band coming into view now. The South Bend John Adams High School. Keith Walker and Jeff Christiana are the band directors. About 80 members turned out for our parade today. Each of the out-of-town high school bands are being judged in the parade today. The best band in the parade receives the 5-foot traveling trophy. And there are other units as well.
This antique fire engine that we're seeing, Bob, is from the South Bend Motor Speedway.
Also, some of the race cars of the drivers that race in the Speedway were supposed to be in the parade. Apparently, they were eliminated. Or the drivers are on the truck, of course. I thought they were going to bring some of the race cars. Some of the drivers, excuse me. So check out the racing at the South Bend Motor Speedway. Antique fire truck.
Here's the colorful character from the Rax restaurant chain. Uncle Alligator is his name.
Well, we see some unique characters. I suppose as we see the Mishawaka Federal Savings float. This float is sponsored by Mishawaka Federal Savings. Their entry is in recognition of their first 100 years. The theme of the float is portrayed through the wording, "Savings helps dreams come true." Now, the float is accompanied by several of their employees and family members dressed in costumes from the 1889 era. The ladies dressed are especially significant that they were all handmade, the dresses. In fact, one single employee, I'm told, Mary, one single employee spent many weeks to make over 25 dresses for this and other events held throughout the year. I think the scene of this timeless Victorian-style home is sort of similar to the many homes that the bank is talking about financing over the years. That's a unique float. I like that.
Here we have an out-of-town band, very welcome at the Ethnic Festival, the Elmhurst High School Band from Fort Wayne, the Marching Trojans. It's the band's first appearance in the Ethnic Festival Parade. Let's listen.
The Enninger Floral Car right here. Oh, they're good friends of ours, aren't they, Mary?
Indeed they are. This particular unit is known as a Child's Garden Rainbow.
Imagination and flowers are two key elements in any child's life, and the staff of Enninger Florists has come up with this captivating theme. Primary colors form the rainbow, which also form the viewpoint from which a child thinks of colors when coloring. Enninger Florist, South Bend, located in the downtown area, right by the Ethnic Festival.
Here we have from the Indianapolis Zoo, this 30-foot inflatable dolphin, entertaining the crowd here.
Indianapolis Zoo is pleased to present Dolphins in Summer School in the new Whale and Dolphin Pavilion at the zoo. The 7 bottlenose dolphins are in school for 5 daily shows. So if you're interested in dolphin shows, and I think we all are, get down to the Indianapolis Zoo. Spend the day down there and see the new dolphin show.
This is, by the way, Bob, the first helium-filled balloon to appear in this parade.
I think people like these. Very nice. Most enjoyable. Good variety at the Ethnic Festival Parade, downtown South Bend. Talking about the bands, as we watch the Dolphins here, they judge, as I say, each of the out-of-town band units, judge for best marching unit, best color guard, auxiliary corps, best drumming unit, best drum major, as we look at the Junior Girl Scout Troop 123. By the way, the panel of judges for the bands is made up of band directors from Fort Wayne and Alexandria, Indiana, as well as a musical expert from South Bend. This is the Junior Girl Scout Troop 123. All righty, everybody, let's take another short intermission. I'm Bob Lux with a little French attire here today, if you will. Mary with the Spanish attire, Bob Lux with Mary Simcoe. Let's just take a brief break.
Sounds good. We'll be back.
This summer, Indiana, whatever you do and wherever you go, Coca-Cola Classic will be there. It's the one soft drink enjoyed across the nation 5 million more times every day than any other. 5 million more times. Coca-Cola Classic, America's favorite under the sun.
Hi, hon. You beat me home again. I can't wait to tell him I called TCU Auto Access for the new car lease payments.
Oh, John brought me home. My car died again. We need a new car, but can we afford it?
You know, we should think about buying a new car.
I know, but I'm not sure we can afford it.
Yes, we can.
You can have a new car through TCU Auto Access, only from Teachers Credit Union.
Where you belong.
Here we have the Hoosier Model A Club, one of the many classic car entries in this year's Ethnic Festival Parade. All these cars are original or restored 1928 to 31 Model A Fords.
Listen
You
to the
know a lot
Uga
about
horns.
that, Bob.
I love things like that. It's before my time, but I love the old cars. I'm listening to the Uga horns going by. Got to close your mind, and it looks like the old Elliot Ness Untouchables television series coming alive here on the streets of South Bend, Indiana. There are about 50 members in the club overall, with many of them owning more than one Model A Ford. This past week, many of the cars were in Toledo, Ohio for the National Model A Convention. And these members are here today to, actually, they had to leave the convention early to be in our parade. We appreciate that very much. The Hoosier Model A Club. The cars are moving east to west as our cameras point to the east here in South Bend, just half a mile east of downtown South Bend. They started at School Field, which is a football field for those of you out of town, about half a mile east of the downtown South Bend area, and then moved north on Eddy Street, about 3 or 4 blocks, and then turned to the west, and it's about a mile parade. Bonnie Bluebell, New Olympians International Show Team, right here.
This is a precision twirling group, as we can see.
Well, if you like bicycle races, by all means, we got downtown. The amateurs will begin, and the novice bikers about 1 o'clock this afternoon, and then about 3:30, I believe. Wow, then they're going to have the sanctioned cyclists, and they put on the helmets and they put their head down, Mary, and they really turn on the steam. I'm talking 30, 40 miles an hour on the bicycle, run through the city of South Bend. Now, again, Captain Ed Friend and Lieutenant Larry Bloom, South Bend Police Department, the entire Chief Ron Marciniak, the entire crew, and we thank them so much for their help in traffic coordination. Obviously, South Bend is a major area between Michigan and to the south, and they're not disrupting the flow of traffic very much at all. Those of you who have to get through town certainly can do so, but I would give yourself maybe an extra 5 minutes or so if you have to get through town, because there are some detours. Going to the, actually you can go south without any problem right through Main Street as always, but coming up from the north, 31 will be detoured around just a couple of blocks to the west to Lafayette Street and around. So you shouldn't have any problem, but if you're in a real rush and you have to get somewhere through town, give yourself a little extra time. The Avalon Grotto Clowns and mini cars, as we see here, some of the east-west streets in the downtown area closed, and of course the immediate downtown South Bend area all closed up for the weekend because of the Ethnic Festival Parade. These clowns from the Avalon Grotto, many of the clowns riding in their own mini cars to entertain along the route. Robert McPhee, the president of the group. See that little fire truck? When it comes into view, right there on the bottom of your screen, I have ridden that many times dressed as a clown. Of course, they didn't have to spend much time putting makeup on me. I've ridden in the Memorial Day Parade many times in Mishawaka, and even when we didn't do the telecast here on TV 22, I've had the pleasure of being invited to participate personally with the Avalon Grotto Clowns in the Ethnic Festival Parade in South Bend downtown. That's a lot of fun. They do so nice work working with the dentistry for the kids and things like that, raising funds.
That's right.
Avalon Grotto. That's their building is located on Ironwood, south of South Bend. I think Mike Warren was telling me that's where they had the central, I don't know if it was a party or the reunion or whatever last night.
This group, Bob, is known as the Citizens of Hope. And this group is hoping it can inspire people to become active to save the planet from war and pollution.
This parade just continues to grow year after year. First parade, this is the 7th South Bend Ethnic Festival Parade. We mentioned earlier, this is the 16th Ethnic Festival. But we began, Rick Kring, chairman, was telling us with about 80 units, as you recall, when we did that first telecast, Mary.
That's right.
And it's grown every year. And not only in units, but in bigger units as well. I mean, real big units.
From our sister station, Sunny 101.5 FM, the giant boombox. That will kick out some sound, no doubt.
Co-sponsored by a soft drink company and, of course, our FM station. That was out at I saw it for the first time at the Mishawaka Summerfest last week. So many things to see and do around the Michiana area, whether it be a parade or a concert. WSBT Radio just recently sponsored 2 consecutive weeks in a row as we see the National Association, the Project Head Start here, the National Association letter carriers.
Project Head Start is, on that subject, Project Head Start is a preschool program for disadvantaged young people.
Get to the letter carriers here in a minute. I was saying about our concerts we sponsor on SBT Radio at a big free concert at Howard Park, and then a week later we had a huge concert, just matter of fact, it was a week ago today at Merrifield Park in Mishawaka with Summerfest with the Tiny Tim and the coasters and the safaris. Close to 20,000 people turned out for that. Didn't cost anything.
Who says you have to go out of town for things to do?
That's
There's plenty
right.
of fun right here in our area.
Project Head Start, a comprehensive interdisciplinary development program designed to serve preschool children from families with limited income. Now the letter
National
carriers.
Association of Letter Carriers.
This entry celebrates the 100th anniversary of the National Association of Letter Carriers, and their message to the people of South Bend is, quote, I read from their quote, 100 years of service, 100 years of opportunity. Did you know the drafters of the U.S. Constitution, I'm told, considered a postal service so important to a democratic society, they included the establishment of a national post office in the first article of the Constitution as one of the fundamental responsibilities of a national government? Neat. Well, they're moving slowly. Some of the units move with a little speed. Isn't it interesting how we watch the units and the speed that they work through, depending on the weather, Mary? When it was cold, they go by very, very quickly, and it's awfully hard to get a good picture of them, and understandably. And, of course, when it's nice like this, they want to take their time. And here's the Vietnam Veterans of Michiana.
This is a local group which meets regularly. This particular group as a whole is the Grand Marshal for the 1986 Ethnic Festival Parade, and it has been part of this parade every year. Not only is this group involved in supporting Vietnam veterans, but it also helps in community projects such as for example, the Salvation Army food basket distribution at Christmas. The group has also donated $25,000 toward the St. Joseph County Vietnam Veterans Memorial. That memorial will be erected in Howard Park, just down the street from our broadcast operation here very soon.
They're joined today by other Vietnam veterans organizations from the surrounding areas to show their concern of the 2,376 POW MIAs still unaccounted for in Southeast Asia. Listen to the applause. People are on their feet applauding them. They didn't get the applause and the credit they deserved when they first came back from Vietnam years ago, but now we've realized what they have done and what they've given. Many of their lives, of course, and injuries. Holding those flags high. Vietnam veterans of Michiana. Gentlemen, we salute you.
This is the loudest ovation from the crowd thus far, and rightfully so.
You know, Mayor Joe Kernan not marching with this group because of the other responsibilities and his appearances in the parade was a prisoner of war in Vietnam.
Bob, while we have a minute, I'd like to mention something I neglected earlier. The Teachers Credit Union float we saw, probably about 20 minutes ago, was the recipient of the City of South Bend trophy. It was a Johnny Appleseed float, if you'll recall, and we wanted to mention that that was indeed a trophy winner.
Some of the announcements on the various winners' trophies are just coming to us, sometimes just a tad late. And it's so nice to win awards and be a part of what's going on here in South Bend, Indiana. TV 22 and our live coverage today. Nothing is being edited out. We're bringing you the entire parade today. We have a long way to go, and the Clay High School Marching Band has about 60 members represented today. This is the first parade experience for many of the younger members of the bands, I'm told. Jerry Lackey and Lawrence Dwyer are the band directors. We can say the Clay High School band boosters and students have been working hard this year to purchase new band uniforms. They're continuing to work on securing funds to pay for the uniforms. A lot goes into that, as we sometimes don't remember or don't even give thought to all of the extra effort. They're just not handed all these uniforms and instruments. Clay High School colors, purple and white. Boy, doesn't everybody look spiffy in what they're dressed?
Indeed they do.
Especially you in that Spanish outfit. That is
Thank you.
Direct from Spain. Mary Simcoe's, and you'll see her again when we come back if you joined us late. She is just wearing a gorgeous Spanish dress. University of Notre Dame baseball team follows the Clay High School marching band. Pat Murphy is the manager. Boy, the baseball team at Notre Dame this year just did outstanding, finishing with a 48 wins, 18 losses, and 1 tie record this past year. They beat the national powers, Texas and Miami. They won the Midwestern Collegiate Conference by winning 4 games in just 22 hours. You may remember that. One of those games didn't end, I think, until about 2:30 in the morning or whatever. Like floats, here's one that was in the Blossom Time float, the Miss Stevensville Float Committee. Miss Stevensville, Tina Hoffman, is on here with her court, Mary.
That is so true. And this particular float was the winner of the Parade Committee Trophy. This particular float depicts Cinderella before and after. It is a leftover from the Blossom Time Festival, the theme of which was a child's fantasy. This was most appropriate then, and it is most appropriate now, because the theme of this parade is the world according to kids.
And Stevensville is calling their float Stevensville Grants a Wish, sponsored by the Stevensville Business Association. Knights of Columbus of St. Joe Valley represented here.
The Knights of Columbus is an organization of Catholic laymen, and it was originally founded in response to incidents of religious tolerance, and now promotes such things as interfaith understanding and social welfare and local community events as well. The KFC, as it's known, has a scholarship and fellowship program.
Wearing their familiar red and yellow aprons, which they wear during the fund drives over past years. About the last 11 years, I'm told, they've collected almost $100,000 for the mentally handicapped right here in this area. There are over 2,000 members locally and 3 million members nationwide. KFC.
Coming up here, we see the John Glenn Marching Falcons from John Glenn High School in Walkerton, Indiana, serving the communities of Walkerton and North Liberty. This band is 80 members strong. The band is known as the Marching Falcons.
They've been here before. Regular entrant in the Ethnic Festival Parade. Dan Fortlander, the band director. The band judges, Kevin and Cindy Klee of Fort Wayne, Tom Champion of Alexandria, Indiana, and Devon Yockey of South Bend. This is an award-winning band. They've won several First Division ratings at various locations and various marching band contests. They're going in a few days, next week. They're leaving for Toronto, Canada to perform. They're at the present time right in front of the reviewing stand where all of the officials are located. Gwen Stiver, the Ethnic Festival chairman, of course, the chairman of the parade, Rick Kring. John Pachesney is the director. I really don't think, Mary, that we would probably have much of a parade had it not been for the extra efforts of Rick Kring and John Chesney over the years. I mean, these guys really donate their services for an outstanding event, and it has grown over the years. Just incredible.
They work very hard and don't receive a penny in return. Without individuals such as Rick and John, the parade would not be possible.
All right, I'll tell you what, let's take a real short time out, and then we'll come back and we'll enjoy the band so we won't miss anything. We'll come right back live from the 1989 Ethnic Festival Parade.
Let's vanish, I'm famished. Let's grab a bite and a Coca-Cola Classic. Oh, I got an urge to feed my face. I got the munchies, I got for a taste. Chow down it, then drown it. It all goes better with the Coca-Cola Classic. Can't beat the real thing, no. Can't beat the feeling.
Man, am I tired. This rat race is really getting to me.
What I'd give for a vacation.
You know, you really have been working too hard. Maybe now's the time to bring up that cruise we've talked about. We do have our V card from TCU.
Maybe we should start planning that cruise we talked about.
But can we afford it?
Yes, we can.
V-Card, Teachers Home Equity Visa Card from Teachers Credit Union.
It's where you belong.
Here they are, John Glenn Marching Falcons. From Walkerton and North Liberty. Nice job. Guardian Angels South Bend Chapter Safety Patrol. The Guardian Angels Safety Patrol is an all-volunteer organization who dare to care. I think that's their slogan. They patrol our city streets as a visual deterrent to crime and reinforce a positive role model for the young people of our community.
This group is 67 members strong.
Nonprofit, tax-deductible organization existing solely on contributions and donations from the community. By the way, I'm told the patrol is looking for members. You can speak with one of the members during the duration of the Ethnic Festival activities. Larry Hay is the chapter leader. 67 active chapters today. So from the Guardian Angels, let's take a look at the Hispanic Week Committee.
Of course, the Hispanic community, one of the many communities making up the rich cultural fabric that is the city of South Bend. Joining with this unit are youngsters from South America in their native dress. Youngsters here are also dressed in native Mexican costumes.
That big sombrero, boy, that brings back memories. I like to go to Mexico. I have a sombrero just like that. I should have worn it today. I bought it on the beach of Acapulco one day. I really did.
South Bend, of course, has so many different ethnic groups. The Hispanic community, as we see here, also descendants of Polish, Hungarian immigrants. In Mishawaka, there are many Italian Americans, Belgian Americans. Just a great melting pot in the South Bend, Mishawaka area, and in other parts of Michiana as well.
That's what our country is all about, a mixture of ethnic backgrounds from around the world. Europe, Asia, south of the border, north of the border. Look at the beautiful costumes. You go down to Mexico, and of course they have dances and shows, and the girls and the guys wear these outfits, and they dance to that Mexican music and sing, and it is very, very colorful. Extremely colorful. The Plymouth High School Big Red Band. Plymouth, about 70 members in this band. Now, they have previously marched in the Ethnic Festival Parade. They were the 1987 grand champion of the parade, I'm happy to say. Band moving towards the west from the east, if you're familiar with South Bend, from Eddy Street, moving westerly all the way to basically around the Century Center and behind the South Bend Post Office is where it disbands. Parade route about a mile. And next year, they're hoping possibly next year or two to expand the length of the parade. One of the reasons they want a longer parade is because they can entice more groups from out of town. Some of the groups were a little hesitant to drive this far to participate in a parade if it's only 6 or 7 or 8 blocks. High School Big Red Band. Here's the Irish Youth Hockey League skaters celebrating their 21st season this year with the Ethnic Festival and the World According to Kids. That's the theme. These skaters, basically, they're on roller skates today, but they usually put on the ice skates. They're between 4 years old and 17 years old boys and girls. And from Elkhart, we have the Twirling Jewels.
This group is from Elkhart, Bob, and youngsters on their way up, perhaps going to appear in future parades. Looks like they're in training here at the Ethnic Festival Parade.
Now, they tell us Dance Center 2's Twirling Jewels under the direction of Kathy Watkins, and are marching in their second season. They've taken honors in all the parades they've marched in. They're between the ages of 8 and 12, and you'll see the twirlers here coming up in a minute. When they get a little bit closer to our cameras, they're passing the main review area right now, which is directly across the street from Teachers Credit Union here on East Jefferson in downtown South Bend, Indiana, just east of the downtown area. These little girls are basically, as I say, between 8 and 12. Some of them, most experienced twirler only has 2 years experience. Ever twirl a baton, Mary?
Never have I. My coordination, that would probably hurt somebody.
No, I don't think so. You could do it.
A lot of parents here, Bob, with video cameras taping their youngsters.
That's so nice, the magic of those camcorders. For just a few dollars, you can record several hours, and it's just treasured memories on videotape. The Bryan Chiropractic Center represented here, Mary.
That's right. This entry is, as we said, from the Bryan Chiropractic Center in South Bend. Taking part in this unit, some enthusiastic little leaguers from Northside Little League in South Bend. Dr. Bryan himself has sponsored this Little League team for 2 years now. How appropriate for an overall parade theme of the world according to kids.
Yeah, these little leaguers need local sponsorship, and I think when a business or organization or group of people sponsor them, it's something they never forget, and it's just terrific. Well, you in the mood for some more band music, Mary?
Always.
Let's go to the
Especially
Riley.
with such wonderful bands as we have here today.
Yeah, South Bend Riley High School. Tom DeShone is the band director. They have about 80 members today. This band received a superior rating at a state organization contest. It opened the United Way campaign in South Bend last fall. Also played for both appearances of President Bush in South Bend last year. And this Riley High School marching band was selected to march and put on a show at the Epcot Center this past April. So let's enjoy them together here on TV 22, live from the Ethnic Festival Parade. People in attendance just sort of clapping along as we go along and to the beat of the music, enjoying the activity. Well, we are having a delightful time. I'm Bob Lux along with Mary Simcoe.
And we'll be back right after this.
This summer, Indiana, whatever you do and wherever you go, Coca-Cola Classic will be there. It's the one soft drink enjoyed across the nation 5 million more times every day than any other. 5 million more times. Coca-Cola Classic, America's favorite under the sun.
Why would anyone want a credit card from some bank in California, especially when they charge? Let's see, this one says 21% annual interest. No thanks. I'll stick with my Teachers Credit Union Visa card. There's no annual fee to pay, and the interest rate is a whole lot less than that one. And TCU is right here at home.
Teachers Credit Union, it's where you belong.
Back with you at the 1989 Ethnic Festival Parade. Mary Simcoe and Bob Lux bringing you the sights and sounds of all the excitement here in downtown South Bend.
What a marvelous time we're having. About 4,000 participants in the parade, thousands more lining Eddy Street and East Jefferson in South Bend, Indiana.
This unit, Bob, is from the group known as Pledge of Resistance. The Pledge of Resistance group is dedicated to peace for the people in Central America. And they hope that with peace, the youngsters in that region will be able to have a healthy, normal childhood.
Peace in the world for kids. Our theme here today is the world according to kids. Such variety in the parade, from the serious entries such as we are seeing to the more, obviously, the clown units. Oh, if you like floats, we have another big one coming up here in just a moment.
In keeping with the ethnic theme, this is truly an international flavor.
The Bridgman float, another float from the Blossom Time Parade here. This is one called A Child's Dream Come True. Now, the elephant, notice the elephant. Now, that's the tow vehicle. It's nice how they cover the tow unit. It's not just an old truck out there, but the elephant leading the parade, the head of the elephant moving up and down, and of course you can see his ears flopping, and he's pulling the large red circus wagon with Miss Bridgman, Lorraine Higgins, and her cart.
And Bob, not surprisingly, this particular unit is the Grand Sweepstakes winner, following today's judging.
This float won the President's Award, which means it was the second place float in the Blossom Time Parade. So this is the big overall winner?
That's right,
here,
the Grand
this
Sweepstakes
year,
winner.
This year. Oh, look at this. Ferris wheel moving around, holding stuffed animals. The back, the merry-go-round going in both directions, giving the boys and the girls the ride. They're dressed to look like children of the old days, too. To finish the whole effect, circus music is being played. Boy, is this colorful. Isn't that great? I love it. Again, that was the Bridgman float from Bridgman, Michigan, our top award-winning float
The Grand
today.
Sweepstakes Award winner.
Go get
That's
that
right.
big 4 or 5 foot trophy.
This unit is from the Michiana Regional Airport, as we can see. And we have an Oshkosh T-6 aircraft fire and rescue vehicle.
Now, they tell me this truck can pump 12,000 of gallons of water per minute. Now, it holds 1,500 gallons of water and 180 gallons of the foam concentrate. So if that 12,000 gallons a minute is correct, it wouldn't last very long if they don't hook it up to a fire plug.
Here we have the WNDU radio stations. They have 2 vehicles in today's event.
Most of the broadcasting stations, of course, involved in it, in helping to promote it. That's that fire truck you hear in the back from the airport. The aircraft rescue unit. Boy, that's a little loud. I want to see some pretty girls. Let's show some pretty girls. How about the cheerleaders from IUSB?
That's right. They are the #1 fans of the IUSB Titan baseball team. Continuously supporting and encourage the run-and-gun style of play of the Titans.
Titan cheerleaders encourage each member of the community to show their support by attending the IUSB basketball games this season. They're shouting out the cheers as they go by. A little difficult to go through a routine here, but well, they brighten up our telecast. IUSB cheerleaders. Okay. Let's go to the Miss Indiana National Teenager 1989. Just been handed the Indiana University basketball schedule. They open November 5th. IUSB alumni. And head coach is Jerry Jones. He's also the athletic director over there. So good luck to IUSB. Now, who is this, Mary? This is Dawn?
Dawn Doverspike, Miss Indiana National Teenager. She will represent our state in the National Teenager Pageant in Orlando in August. She's from the South Bend, Mishawaka area.
She's brought to South Bend, Mishawaka, her Queen's title, as well as the Citizenship Award and Talent Award. The pageant is based on scholastic achievement, community leadership, poise and personality, and appearance. So we welcome Dawn to the parade and wish her well in Orlando next month, by the way. Going down there.
Here we have Bob the Kroger float. And we have an antique setting of a horse-drawn wagon, and it's meant to be going down a cobblestone street. It's meant to be an old-time food wagon, I guess you'd say, with crates of apples, sacks of flour, barrels of old pickles, cheese, and milk cans. I guess this shows the people how Kroger Company started business in Indiana back in 1924 by selling out of the back of the wagon. Certainly a far cry from the modern superstores we have today. Another band, this one from Northwood High School of Napanee in Wakarusa, Indiana. It's the first ethnic festival parade appearance for the Northwood High School Scarlet Guard, 90 members strong.
Director is David Cole.
Bands from all over northern Indiana taking part in this very unique parade.
Northwood High School. Well, we're proud to have all the bands and all the participants, local and out of town. We hope they come back year after year and the parade continues to grow and grow.
Let's hope they come back.
Well, you can't get a better shot than that. You folks at home are getting a better view than some of the spectators along the way here, right in the middle of some of these bands. And so, as the Northwood High School Scarlet Guard passes in review, we look at the Telephone Pioneers of America. Telephone Pioneers Hearing Band is what we're looking at now.
This, Bob, is a group of phone company employees. In their spare time, they do volunteer work for various causes, including hearing, also goals for the blind, and all types of various projects meant to make life a little bit easier for young people.
We go to Michigan again, southwestern Michigan, for the Baroda Blossom Time Float. A day at the carnival.
That's right. It won, not surprisingly, the Beauty Award at the Blossom Time Parade in St. Joseph, Michigan this past spring. We have a carousel here, balloons.
You notice the float pulled by the bright multicolored clown car, which has what looks like a large sunglasses for the windshield. You notice that. The float itself creates a park-like setting with beautiful young ladies. Well, I like that. That's just delightful. Again, the sponsor for the parade overall, WYEZ, one of the fine radio stations here in the area, and they had several units in the parade, as would be expected. Let's go to the Hung USA Taekwondo. New to the parade this year is this unit. This is their first appearance in our parade. Martial arts, karate.
Some youngsters getting some experience in self-defense and martial arts.
Don't forget now, the Ethnic Festival underway after the parade in downtown South Bend with food booths and food from all over the world and T-shirts and novelties, and talk about probably a little artwork down there.
Here we have the Toys R Us mascot, Jeffrey the Giraffe, and Gigi and Baby G, delighting the crowd here.
May I mention another time, between 1:30 and 5:30 this afternoon, just about 2-3 miles south of the downtown South Bend area, on Ireland Road, just west of the Scottsdale Mall, will be Auction 89 at the Christian Center. This is for Feed the Hungry at 530 East Ireland Road. About 250 merchants have donated A lot of items. Of course, there will be trips and all types of things. Bobby Knight basketball and a lot of things. I'll be the MC over there from 1:30 to 3:30. We'll have a silent auction at 1:30, and then at 3:30 the actual bidding begins. So that'll be at the Christian Center this afternoon from 1:30 to 3:30. Let's take a breather.
Okay.
We'll be right back with our live coverage.
This summer, Indiana, whatever you do and wherever you go, Coca-Cola Classic will be there. It's the one soft drink enjoyed across the nation 5 million more times every day than any other. 5 million more times. Coca-Cola Classic, America's favorite under the sun.
Well, thanks again, Mr. Rush. I can't believe how easy that was.
Who was that?
Oh, say it was TCU with our loan approval for the boat.
Well, let me put it this way. Want to go pick up the boat? Loan approval in less than 4 hours, and they guaranteed it.
Really? We can go pick up the boat?
Yes, we can.
Thank you, TCU.
Yes, you can get fast loan approval as a Teachers Credit Union member. Call 289-EASY.
Where you belong.
Bob Lux back with Mary Simcoe at the Ethnic Festival Parade. Boy, what a day it is, of course, with the 4th of July weekend. I love our set here, the nice flowers you came up with.
That's right, and the flowers actually Wygant's Floral Company in South Bend came up with, and we appreciate their help. Always help brighten up the parade set.
Let's go to the Crown Point Royal Regiment. The Royal Regiment from Crown Point High School, Crown Point, Indiana. This is their first appearance in the Ethnic Festival Parade, Mary. Peggy Schaefer is the director.
The Royal Regiment was in Orlando performing at Walt Disney World in that facility's Electric Light Parade this past spring. And just last Saturday, they marched in another festival, the Lumbertown Music Festival Parade in Muskegon.
From Crown Point, Indiana, Crown Point High School, we show you the Miles Incorporated Dental Products entry in our 1989 Ethnic Festival Parade from downtown South Bend.
The Miles Dental Products Company is in the process of relocating from St. Louis here to South Bend, and they thought they'd say, we're glad to be in town with this certainly unique and appropriate entry. I guess very appropriate for a dental products company.
That's a giant tooth. And the tooth fairy, what we're seeing right there. What a way to promote something. I love it.
All they're missing is the floss.
1940 Studebaker Commander here. This
another one of our classic cars.
Yeah, Lee and Mary Lawson own this. I'm told this car only has 28,000 miles on it. It was purchased just last August at the National Studebaker Meet, which, of course, was held right here in the great, thriving metropolis of South Bend, Indiana.
Another one of the
else,
many community events.
Antique cars, bands, clowns, queens, floats. We have a lot of them. There's a calliope.
The Coca-Cola calliope, to be exact.
And by the way, Coca-Cola, one of the sponsors making it possible for us to be here live on WSBT television today. Teachers Credit Union, it's where you belong, and the Coca-Cola Bottling Company, all making our telecast possible. If you're enjoying the telecast, please let the folks know from Teachers Credit Union and Coca-Cola, because without their support, we wouldn't be here.
That is so true.
Good luck in the national tournament.
Boy, a lot of work goes into these floats. Some of the floats in blossom time, and I'm not sure about today because of the availability of the flowers, but they actually use live flowers, live flowers. Very nice. Let's take a look now at the South Bend Rebels AAU junior basketball team. These kids are between 11 and 13 years old, and they're dribbling the parade route. And the team will represent the area in the national tournament, which will be in Indianapolis, coming up the middle of this month. Boy, I forgot, we're into July already, aren't we?
Summertime always goes rapidly.
Ricky Bonds is the head coach of this unit. Team earned a 4th seed in the national tournament. This is the first time a team in this age division has advanced to the nationals from this area. So we wish them well. The South Bend Rebels junior basketball team. Still part of the Rebels team we're seeing here, and the unit, if you will. What a great day in South Bend, Indiana. A lot of things happening. A lot of things to look forward to as well. Of course, as I mentioned, after a while, after the activity in downtown South Bend will take place, the Ethnic Festival booths with music, three different stages providing big band music, rock and roll music, country music, you name it. Bicycle races coming up this afternoon. The novice for the kids at 1. The sanctioned riders will go about 3:30 or so, and boy, they really move out. This is the Big Brothers, Big Sisters entry in our parade coverage today. Something you'll want to see next Tuesday. A couple of things are going to happen next Tuesday. I mentioned about that rubber ducky regatta in the evening over on the East Race. And something else is that big paddling event where the kayakers are coming in from all over.
This is the Brownie Troop, number 52.
I'll tell you just a little bit about that in a moment. That cute little train looks like something from one of the Ice Capade shows, Mary.
That's right.
As we look at this, I was going to say the excitement will be explosive on the 4th of July, Tuesday, as the finest whitewater paddlers in the world return to South Bend's East Race Waterway for the World Cup Championship Series. Teams from 20 foreign countries, including the Soviet Union, are expected to test their skills against a powerful American team on the turbulent waters of the East Race. So join the crowd next Tuesday for world-class whitewater excitement in the event on the whitewater and the kayaking. There's the Washington High School Marching Panthers Band. As they pass the reviewing stand.
This band is 80 members strong and voted the best band in the 1988 Memorial Day Parade in South Bend.
Grayling Hawkins should take a bow as the band director here. Isn't it great how the local schools are involved and all the other communities that did have summer programs of some sort? As I mentioned earlier, all of the band's schools were invited to send representatives. Many responded, and some are closed up for the summer and don't have a band program. But we sent out invitations, or the parade committee did, as far away as Benton Harbor, St. Joe, and all over the TV22 area.
We were originally scheduled to end our broadcast at noon, but hang on, we'll be taking our broadcast to 12:30 to get in all the units. There's plenty more to come.
Doesn't surprise me. Well done, well done. Washington Panthers marching band, and now a unit from the Republican Party. St. Joseph County Republican Party. This is a decorated unit showing children as our country's strength for the future. And again, the theme of this year's Ethnic Festival Parade in South Bend, Indiana, the world according to kids. A lot of youngsters in this parade, too. Rightly so, they should, Mary.
That's right.
It's a busy weekend in South Bend. A lot of people plan their vacation to take off a few days so they can gear up for what's happening around here.
Bill Soderberg, the South Bend Common Council member, is part of this particular unit.
Want to see something cute? This is something really unique. Now, this is an antique pedal car designed for parades. A fellow by the name of Arthur Olson. The car, now look closely, the car is made up of bicycle parts, handrails from a 1929 passenger train coach, paddle boat parts, and railroad lanterns. It has 2 sets of brakes, a 3-speed transmission. I'm told it can go about 30 miles an hour when they really put the pedal to the metal, as they say.
I guess that's what they're doing, too.
They won about 7 trophies in various parades and appearances in the past 3 years. Antique pedal car. Like the clowns, St. Joseph County 4-H clowns are participating in our parade. Right here.
This is actually a learning experience for these young people, Bob. They learn the proper way to be a clown through classes on makeup, character development, skits, and whatnot.
Pet Refuge is represented right here with Sylvester the cat. How about the Alumni Concert Band? Michiana's Alumni Concert Band, sponsored today by the Whiteford National East Incorporated, is an organization of volunteer musicians for the preservation of concert band literature. This was organized in the spring of 1985 with just 15 musicians. Now, this ensemble has more than tripled in its size. We'll get a better shot when they get a little bit closer to our camera, and you'll hear their music. I'm told that this band has performed for civic functions, holiday parades, private engagements, as well as the 1987 International Special Olympics, the 1988-89 Indiana Senior Olympics. Membership is open to musicians with high school and/or college training. If you'd like to participate in the Michiana Alumni Concert Band, I would say practice is held every Monday night. Here they come, so let's listen in.
Here we have the entry from the restaurant chain, I Can't Believe It Yogurt. It's yogurt. Excuse me, I can't believe it's yogurt. I'll get it out. And you see riding and waving to the crowd. His name is Yobert. He is the nationally famous mascot of this frozen food store chain.
This float was built by the kids and employees of the area store. But yogurt is delicious. Good for you, too. Really terrific. Anderson Taekwondo and Fitness Center represented here.
This school has 2 locations in Michiana, one in Mishawaka and the other in Niles, and about 230 youngsters are involved in this particular organization. This group teaches not only martial arts and encourage physical fitness, but it also emphasizes, especially to the youngsters, no drugs, no smoking, and no drinking.
Let me tell you, I left them at 9:30 this morning.
That's great with an emphasis like that.
Chaos out there, and they put this parade on the street. And these are the people that work with me.
High kicks.
Most of them have been with us for 7 years.
A lot of work, a lot of effort. If you really want to do something, you need to practice, Mary, and devote a lot of time, of course, no matter what it might be.
That is so true.
You're watching WSBT's live coverage of the 1989 Ethnic Festival Parade from South Bend, Indiana. Bob Lux with you, along with Mary Simcoe. Parade committee represented here now. I don't think Rick Kring is in here, but he deserves another mention. He's the parade chairman. John Pachesney is the parade director. Rick is on the main reviewing stand. But we have others: Jim and Sue Biggs, Brian and Amy Biggs, Carol and Wayne Kepler, Pat Judzinski, Paul Urbanski, Bernice Sonneborn, Pam and Tom Parks, Drew Leach, Brenda Grubbs. These are the people who volunteer their time and put this parade on for you. I think we should stress that, Mary. Volunteer.
And a very hard-working bunch of people they are. They do the behind-the-scenes tasks that many people do not realize have to go into organizing a parade such as this.
I mean, they work sometimes a year ahead of time getting things organized. They're already lining up units for next year's Ethnic Festival Parade. And without the efforts and the direction and great leadership, this type of thing just wouldn't happen, let alone the Ethnic Festival that's to come. This is just the beginning of a wild, exciting, fun-filled weekend.
That's right.
In South Bend, Indiana.
But I certainly want to thank all of the parade committee for the job they did.
The current principal of St. Joseph's High School, our alumni school of the year, is Mr. Glenn Rousey.
This unit coming up is depicting the history of St. Joseph's High School in South Bend, a Catholic high school that was opened in September of 1953.
That's our feature school, of course, this weekend today.
That's true, and St. Joseph's High School is a consolidation of the South Bend Catholic, Central Catholic, St. Hedwig's, and St. Joseph Academy High Schools, primarily a college preparatory school.
Meets the needs of all of its students, of course. I'm told in 1984-85 it was named an exemplary private school recognition project. St. Joe High School is committed to providing the finest in Catholic education, continuing the fine tradition that was established back in 1953, as we said.
We can't forget that the St. Joseph High School Indians were one of the 4 finalists in the state high school basketball championship this past year.
You bet. We're going to see them, too, momentarily in a little bit. We have several units in the parade from St. Joe High School. Yes, indeed. Lots of things to see, lots of things to do, lots of great food to partake in all weekend long. It's the Ethnic Festival in South Bend, Indiana. Continues. Just getting started, as a matter of fact. In a lot of places. A lot of events coming up.
It has indeed been a pleasure being a part of this exciting community event this morning.
Of course, we have the basketball team, as you pointed out. We had the principal of St. Joe High School came by earlier.
There is the championship
basketball team there, yeah, on that fire truck from the airport.
One of the 4 finalists.
Steve Austin is the team coach. Boy, that basketball team did great, winning the Hall of Fame Classic, South Bend Holiday Tournament, South Bend Sectional, Michigan City Regional, South Bend Semi-State.
In 1984-85, it was named an exemplary.
Here we have the St. Joseph's Indian Marching Band.